Good evening, hockey fans, and welcome to a brand new season of the Penalty Box with your host, Kalal Oakman. That's right, we've been picked up for our second consecutive season covering the VHL like nobody else. You'll hear all the news you need to hear, that you want to hear, right here on the Penalty Box. Tonight's episode of the Penalty Box, we're talking about season opener. Season 4 of the VHL was underway last night, Sunday, October 3rd, and it was fantastic. I mean, you want to talk about starting a season off with a bang? This one did. You have the Pittsburgh Penguins, defending Stanley Cup champs, starting their title defense, and they went up against division rival Philadelphia. More on that game in a second. You also have the Detroit Red Wings coming off a bitter 4-0 sweep over from the Penguins. They lost the title. They were the defending champs last year, but the new champ is Pittsburgh. How did they fare last night? Well, can you say hangover? And on top of that, you have other teams that didn't even make the playoffs last year starting to make a big splash game one. I'm talking about throwing some wrenches in everybody else's predictions, a little bit of sabotage. We have player movements, high-powered offenses, big-name players with big-name salaries, and more coming up on the Penalty Box. Don't go away. Welcome back. I still can't believe that those dumbasses that do the radio show have bought airtime on this show, and the producers said, hey, sure, let's run an advert for them. Whatever. Bunch of flipping goons. I don't know if you catch that show on Thursday nights. Sometimes they have really good discussions, and then there's other nights where Dark Cloud Downey, that's what I like to call him, he just out of nowhere talks about something completely unrelated. Some nights he'll talk about, I don't know, the basket weaving tournament, or the underwater basket weaving contest or whatever, but that's neither here nor there. Back to the VHL. As I was saying in the opening intro, the Season 4 started with a bang. I mean, literally, let me break down the games that happened. As you know, the season scheduling has been changed. There's only one game on Sunday nights and a doubleheader on Thursday, instead of the doubleheader on Sunday and one game on Thursday. So they just flip-flopped the 2 days. So last night you had 15 games going, and before I get into the 15 games, let me just put it this way. The East is now the beast. The West is no longer the best. Here are the games. You got Los Angeles Kings beat the Dallas Stars 4-2. You got the Ottawa Senators that beat the Anaheim Mighty Ducks 6-1. Phoenix beat Washington 3-1. Colorado loses to Buffalo 5-4. Montreal loses to New Jersey 7-2. Florida outlasts St. Louis 3-2. Atlanta beats San Jose 4-1. Boston walks all over Vancouver 7-1. Edmonton beats Detroit 8-3. Yes, that's right. Talk about a championship hangover. The New York Rangers are still the cellar dwellers in the East. Tampa Bay walks all over them 7-1. Chicago loses to upstart Calgary. Calgary took offense to some of the people on the radio show calling them the king of the poop or king of the crappy, whatever, Dark Lord of the poo. They beat them 5-2. Speaking of Chicago, anybody seen CJ? The guy gets paid $12.5 million. Where is he? Does he get lost? Did his private jet land at the wrong airport? Did his chauffeur forget to put fuel in the car? More on that later. The New York Islanders beat the Minnesota Wild 5-2. And finally, the last two games, last three games, excuse me. You have the Columbus Blue Jackets taking offense to what Nashville's been saying during the offseason and beating the crap out of their division rival 8-2. In fact, a Columbus player was quoted as saying, the only cup that Nashville will be carrying this year will be mine, jockstrap. So, a little bulletin board material for you. Then there's Pittsburgh versus Philadelphia. We already saw what happened to Detroit with their championship run hangover. Did Pittsburgh suffer the same consequences? No. Pittsburgh starts their title defense with an ass whooping. They beat Philadelphia 7-1. I guess practice makes perfect. Lord knows that Smirky has that team practicing every single night. Scrim games after scrim games after scrim games. And it's paying off. And finally, you have Carolina going up against the $15 million man in Toronto. That's right, Nash gets paid $15 million. But he wasn't in the game. You spend $15 million, almost half your team's salary cap, on one player, and you don't even put him in opening night? It's the home opener. The fans want to see what you paid for, and you don't even put him in. It's a 2 overtime game, which Carolina was victorious 2-1 in a defensive matchup. In this game, Carolina spent $10 million on a defenseman named as Ricochet. Hurricane Rico landed in Toronto and was able to stop Toronto's vaunted offense, even though they had Paralyzer in net. The game went to 2 overtimes. A goalie duel between Dominator Forever and Paralyzer, with Dominator Forever coming out on top. His team scores 2 power play goals by Headhunter to take the lead and the victory 2-1 in double overtime. Like I said, wrenches were thrown in some of these people's predictions. Who would have thought Columbus would come out and smack Nashville 8-2? Some people may say that's like stealing candy from a baby. But the way Nashville's been talking in the offseason, everybody thought Nashville would be a lot better than 8 goals allowed. I have to agree. Nashville, unless you change your game, the only cup you're going to be carrying at the end of the season is going to be your division rivals' jockstrap. So, we'll be back with more words about what's going on around the rest of the league. Like I said, where's the $15 million man? Where's CJ, the $12.5 million man? And what the hell happened in Washington when you spend $10 million on Plymouth? Where was he? That and more coming up next. Welcome back, hockey fans. And now time for the 2-minute minor. And tonight's 2-minute minor is this. There's been a lot of bitching and bickering and whining and crying over the rules and this isn't done and rosters this and contract years that. And a lot of owners are crying like little school children over spilt milk. Seriously, you're an owner of an NHL team, a franchise. Grow up. Act like it. The guys on your team look to you for leadership, and you are supposed to be an example for these players. Are you going to be an overgrown little baby, whine and cry about everything? You all know when the start date was supposed to be. It was October 3rd. It was that way all the way back to Season 3. At the end of Season 3, during the playoffs, it was released. You knew this. It was well documented and written in the rules. The rule changes, you know what? The BOG and the league officials reserve the right to change and amend the rules as they see fit as things develop. They did that. Okay, you've been bogging them down with all these other little stupid, nuanced little crybaby questions, and then now you bitch because they didn't have enough time to get this stuff done because they're too busy handling your stupid piddly little shit. You can't have it both ways, folks. Stop your whining, stop your crying, and play some motherfucking hockey. I mean, seriously. You gonna be little Nancy's? Oh, wait. Oh, I'll take that. Uh-huh. We just got a special package here at the penalty box with a note. In the package was maxi pads. The note here says that this is to be sent to the owners of the VHL. If they're gonna whine and cry like little women, maybe they need one of these. So, I'll get that taken care of. I guess other hockey fans out there in the VHL and see what's going on and hear exactly what I do. Bunch of whiny little bitches, crying over nothing. Stick your man pawn in the sandy vagina that you have, or strap on the pads and play some hockey. And that's been the 2-minute minor.
Well, that take care of that.
Well, we'll be monitoring these situations and more throughout the whole season of VHL, season number 4, here on the second season of the Penalty Box. We'll be following stories such as how's Plymouth's return to Washington. He was interim owner last year, and now he's drafted and picked up during the offseason back to Washington. Where's CJ? CJ was once the highest paid player, forward that is, in the VHL. He was tied with the Moosen, who was the highest paid player goaltender. Both were being paid $12 million last year. CJ has yet to play a game for Chicago. Where did he go? Is he lost? Did the chauffeur drive out into the woods and steal his money? Or did he just forget that even with all this money, he still has to put gas in the Lamborghini? Also, speaking of putting gas in a Lamborghini, the $15 million man, where's he been? He wasn't there for the home opener for Toronto. Will he be playing at all this week? We don't know. We'll find out though. And on top of that, we have other surprises from around the league. Big upstarts, upsets, all that stuff. The bickering, the bitching, everything. If it's newsworthy, you got it right here on the penalty box. We'll keep you covered. We'll keep you informed. But until then, hockey fans, we'll see you at center ice when the puck drops. My glass table broke, so I can't drop this one. Good night.
Let's go watch that kid from the Lowell Devils, that Mikey guy, get his butt kicked. Huh? Should we go watch that? Yeah, let's go do that.